Welcome to this channel to hear a new information, story, autography, news and biography. Today we are gonna listen autobiography of Xi Jinping. Who is Xi Jinping? Do you Xi Jinping? Who knows Xi Jinping? Xi Jinping was born on June 15, 1953, in Beijing, into a family deeply embedded in the early history of the People's Republic of China. His father, Xi Jinping, was a veteran revolutionary and the senior official in the Chinese Communist Party CCP, which meant that Xi's early childhood unfolded within the political elite of the new socialist state. This environment initially granted him access to privilege, status, and proximity to power, but it also tied his fate closely to the volatile ideological struggles that defined Mao-era China. That volatility became personal during the Cultural Revolution, when Xi Jinping was purged, imprisoned, and publicly denounced. As a teenager, Xi Jinping experienced a sudden reversal of fortune. His family was disgraced, and he was subjected to political suspicion. He was sent to the countryside as part of Mao Zedong's Down to the Countryside movement, joining millions of urban youths forced to live and labor among rural peasants. This period would later become central to Xi's own narrative of hardship and endurance. She spent several formative years in the impoverished village of Liangji in Shaanxi province, living in a cave dwelling and performing physically demanding agricultural labor. The conditions were harsh, scarce food, limited sanitation, and social isolation, but she gradually integrated into village life. He later described this time as crucial in shaping his understanding of rural China, class struggle, and the gap between political theory and lived reality. These experiences are frequently cited by analysts as foundational to his governing worldview. Despite early political stigma, Xi repeatedly applied to join the Chinese Communist Party and was initially rejected. Due to his family background, persistence eventually paid off, and he was admitted in 1974. This acceptance marked a turning point, signaling his political rehabilitation and the possibility of a future within the system that had once marginalized him. It also demonstrated his willingness to work patiently within party structures rather than challenge them. After the end of the Cultural Revolution, Xi enrolled at Tsinghua University in Beijing, where he studied chemical engineering. His education coincided with China's gradual shift away from ideological chaos toward technocratic governance under Deng Xiaoping. Unlike many reform-era leaders who emphasized economics or engineering alone, Xi combined technical training with ideological loyalty, a blend that would later characterize his leadership style. Xi's early political career unfolded largely away from the national spotlight. He worked in Hebei, Fujian, Zhejiang, and Shanghai, steadily climbing the party hierarchy through provincial and municipal posts. These decades were marked by administrative experience rather than charismatic leadership, as he cultivated a reputation for discipline, caution, and organizational competence rather than bold reformism. In Fujian province, where Xi spent nearly 2 decades, he dealt with issues such as cross-strait relations with Taiwan, corruption at the local level, and economic development along China's southeastern coast. His tenure there suggested pragmatism. He supported market reforms while emphasizing party control and social stability. Observers noted his ability to avoid major scandals in a region often plagued by them. Xi's later posting in Zhejiang province further elevated his profile. Zhejiang was one of China's most dynamic private sector economies, and Xi oversaw rapid growth while reinforcing party authority over entrepreneurs and local governments. His speeches from this period emphasized discipline, ideological clarity, and the moral role of the CCP, themes that would later dominate his national leadership. A brief but significant stint as party secretary of Shanghai in 2007 brought Xi into the central leadership's view. Tasked with restoring order after a major corruption scandal, he was seen as a safe and reliable figure, capable of stabilizing key political and economic centers. This appointment served as a prelude to his rapid elevation at the national level. Later in 2007, Xi Jinping was appointed to the Politburo Standing Committee, the highest decision-making body in China. This move made him a clear successor to Hu Jintao. Unlike some predecessors, Xi did not emerge from a single powerful patron, but from a consensus among competing factions, which contributed to early perceptions of him as a compromise candidate. In 2012, Xi became General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party, and in 2013, President of the People's Republic of China. From the outset, he moved swiftly to consolidate power, breaking with recent norms of collective leadership. His early speeches emphasized the China Dream, a broad slogan linking national rejuvenation with party strength and personal discipline. One of Xi's most consequential initiatives was a sweeping anti-corruption campaign. While officially framed as a moral and institutional cleansing effort, targeting both tigers and flies, it also removed political rivals and centralized authority. Under Xi's leadership, millions of officials were investigated, reshaping the internal culture of the CCP and reinforcing loyalty to the top. Under Xi, ideology regained prominence in Chinese governance. Marxism-Leninism, Mao Zedong thought, and Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era were increasingly emphasized in education, media, and party life. His political theory was written into the Chinese constitution, elevating his status to a level not seen since Mao. Xi's domestic governance has emphasized state control, national security, and social stability. Policies in regions such as Xinjiang, Tibet, and Hong Kong have drawn intense international scrutiny and criticism, particularly regarding human rights and civil liberties. The Chinese government, under Xi, has consistently defended these measures as necessary for unity and security. Economically, Xi has overseen a shift away from unfettered growth toward tighter regulation and state oversight. While market mechanisms remain, the CCP's role in guiding the economy has been strengthened, particularly in technology, finance, and real estate. This reflects Xi's belief that political control must not be weakened by economic liberalization. On the global stage, Xi has positioned China as a central world power. Initiatives such as the Belt and Road Initiative aim to expand China's economic and strategic influence across Asia, Africa, and Europe. At the same time, relations with the United States and several neighboring countries have grown more tense, marked by trade disputes, military posturing, and ideological competition. Xi's leadership style is often described as centralized, disciplined, and hierarchical. Decision-making has become more concentrated in party-leading groups, chaired by Xi himself, reducing the autonomy of state institutions. This structure has allowed for rapid policy mobilization, but has also raised concerns about rigidity and reduced internal debate. In 2018, constitutional term limits on the presidency were removed, allowing Xi to remain in power indefinitely. This decision marked a significant departure from post-Mao norms designed to prevent personality cults and lifelong rule. It confirmed Xi's positions as the most powerful Chinese leader in decades. Supporters view Xi Jinping as a stabilizing figure who restored party authority, fought corruption, and elevated China's global standing. Critics argue that his rule has narrowed political space, intensified censorship, and increased repression at home while provoking distrust abroad. Both assessments reflect the profound impact of his leadership on modern China. Xi Jinping's life story mirrors the trajectory of the People's Republic of China itself: revolution, upheaval, reform, and consolidation. From political exile in a rural village to the apex of global power, his rise illustrates the resilience of the CCP system and its capacity to produce leaders shaped by both suffering and privilege. His long-term legacy remains unsettled, but his influence on China's political structure and global role is already undeniable. Thank you for listening.